All right, Shalom, Shalom, Israel. This is Brother Azariah from W5 Jersey, Philly, coming back with another video, giving all honor and glory to the Most High Yahweh, which the world calls God, and Yahweh Shai, which the world calls Jesus Christ. Shalom, Shalom. All right, Lord willing, you brothers and sisters, you're increasing in your faith in these last days. All right, just look around you. All right, you got this vaccine thing going on. All right, as we can see, darker days are coming. I like they want to say dark winter, whatever the hell you want to call it, man. We know it's Jacob's trouble. All right, the days are going to begin to wax worse and worse on the earth. So you're going to need a lot of faith in these last days. So you should be grabbing up as much faith as possible. All right? And Lord willing, your wisdom is also increasing in this thing because you're going to need wisdom. All right? Faith and wisdom, you're going to need that. You can't be out there, say you're in the wilderness, and you kind of doing things that's unprofitable. All right? You out there eating swine, and wisdom will teach you, even though you're in the wilderness, you don't eat swine. All right? That's the law. All right? So you got to grab wisdom up. All right? So that the Most High can teach you the secrets of his scriptures, man, of this word. All right? So with that being said, all right, we're going to hop into some prophecy, a little bit of prophecy. All right? So with that being said, let's get right into it. But I'm going to open up with the book of 2nd Esdras 15 and verse 1. All right, so this is the book of 2nd Esdras 15 and verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. All right, so the Lord said to speak the words of prophecy. So that's what we're doing out in these last days, man. We go out there and we prophesy the downfall of America. We prophesy the uprising of the so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. We go out there and prophesy and tell the nations, and alongside with our people, we tell them that the Lord's coming to bring judgment upon the earth. He's destroying the heathens, all right, and he's going to raise us up in these last days, all right, back to where we should have been from the beginning on that pedestal and ruling over the earth, man. That's our natural lot. We're supposed to rule over the earth. Right now, we're the offscoring of the earth. All right? So we got to continue to prophesy until these things come to pass. All right? So I'm going to be breaking down 2nd Esdras 7 and 28 through verses, really through verses 32. All right? You know, that's really where I'm going to be breaking that down. All right? So without any interruptions, all right, we're going to hop right into it. So this is the book of 2nd Esdras 7 and verse 28. It says, for my son, this is the Most High speaking. It says, for my son, it says Jesus is really talking about Yahweh Shai. Certain times in the scriptures, you'll see Jesus, for example, in Sirach. That's not talking about Yahweh Shai. That's talking about a different Joshua. That's talking about somebody else. All right, but here, this is actually a prophecy, all right, concerning Yahweh Shai coming on the earth. You have here in the Apocrypha a prophecy concerning Yahweh Shai. All right, so let's read this again. This is the book of 2nd Esdras 7 and 28. For my son Yahweh Shai shall be revealed with those that be with him. All right, who is those that's going to be with Yahweh Shai? All right, Yahweh Shai, one, he's coming back with the angels. All right, let's go to the book of 1 Thessalonians 1 and verse 7. 2 Thessalonians, Salaki. All right, so this is the book of 2 Thessalonians. All right. Oh, Salaki, I'm in there for 2 Thessalonians. All right, so 2 Thessalonians 1 and 7. It says, till you who are troubled rest with us, when the Lord shall be revealed from heaven with his mighty angels. The Lord is speaking of his Yahweh Shai. And it says he's coming back with his mighty angels. Not his weak, effeminate angels, all right? Just like in a society, they'll show you depictions of angels. All right, you go to these different churches, they'll have this damn small Edomite baby, all right? His rod is out. He got a little bit of covering his backside, all right? And then these angels they look homosexual. They look like homosexuals, man. All right, the angels of the Lord, they're not no homosexuals. They're damn sure not no damn faggots, man. All right? Hey, go to Genesis 19 and 5 on down to 11. Hey, the angels, they blinded men that tried to even perform homosexual acts on them, man. So the angels of the Lord, not no little small little babies, no Cupid, That's not a damn angel, man. The angels of the Most High, they're mighty, and they will put men to death, man. Remember, the Lord sent angels out. Let me get this in the book of Sirach, the 48th chapter. All right. The Lord, he sent his angels out here to destroy men. All right. This is the book of Sirach 48, and I'm going to start at verse 19. All right. This is Sirach 48, and I'm going to start at 19. I start at verse 18, 17. It says, Hezekiah, which is talking about King Hezekiah, fortified his city and brought in water into the midst thereof. He digged the hard rock with iron and made wells of water. In his time, Sennacherib came up and sent Rabshakeh. It says Sakis here. His name is Rabshakeh, and lifted up his hand against Zion and boasted proudly. Then trembled their hearts and hands, and they were in pain and as women in travail. But they called upon the Lord, which is merciful, and stretched out their hands toward him. And immediately the Holy One heard them out of heaven, and delivered them by the ministry of Esdras, which is Isaiah. Verse 21, he smote the host of the Assyrians. Now a smote is not, it's not talking about a smack. All right, he's talking about he slayed them, he killed them. It says he smote the host of the Assyrians, and his angel destroyed them. All right. So when it says his mighty angels, it's talking about his death angels, man. So the Lord, he's coming back with death angels on the earth. Let's get this again in 2 Thessalonians 1 and 7. It says, and to you who are troubled, rest with us, when the Lord Yahushua shall be revealed from heaven with his mighty angels, in flaming fire, taking vengeance on them that know not Yahweh, and that obey not the gospel of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach. All right. So those are who is coming back with the Lord. Also, you have the elect. All right, the 144. They're gonna come back with the Lord. Let's grab that in Revelation 17. All right. So this is the book of Revelation 17, and I want to get right to the point. All right. So this is the book of Revelation 17 and verse 14. It says, these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords and King of kings. And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. So the Lord, he's going to come back with his elect men. All right. He's going to have his elect men. Those are the chosen and that were faithful. All right. The faithful is the children of Israel that's keeping the commandments of the Lord. They always have faith in the Heavenly Father. Although they may have got put to death during Jacob's trouble, all right, but they still believed in the Lord. All right. These are who's called and chosen. Remember, the Lord, he has a chosen few or a chosen amount of people. All right. Actually, let's go to Revelation 14:1 before I go to that. This is the book of Revelation 14:1. It says, and I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000 having his father's name written in their foreheads. All right, so this is playing upon tables. All right, you have the 144,000 with the Heavenly Father. All right, and they have the name of the Most High God in their foreheads, meaning they're coming in his same character. All right, that same vengeance that the Lord had. All right. Remember, the Lord, he got put to death. Yahushua, he got put to death, and he's coming back with vengeance. That's the same thing that's going to be on the elect's mindset. All right, that's going to be in their mindset. That is going to be their damn mindset, man. Thinking about destroying those that destroyed them. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon. All right, 3, and I'm going to start at verse 4. All right, Salakia. All right, so this is the book of Wisdom of Solomon. All right, bear with me. Step back a little bit. All right, this is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, 3 and verse 4. It says, for though they be punished in the sight of men, or I'll start at verse 1. But the souls of the righteous are in the hand of God, and there shall no torment touch them. In the sight of the unwise they seem to die, and their departure is taken for misery. Because you remember, in Jacob's trouble, you're going to have men that's going to be beheaded for the Lord's sake. That's in Revelation 20 and 4. All right? So when Esau is chopping their heads off, because remember, Esau got guillotine set up. All you gonna hear is shing, shing. You're gonna have babies crying in the background because they more than likely gonna be doing this at FEMA camps, all right, or anywhere, all right. But we know they got FEMA camps set up, so you got babies somewhere in a room crying, all right, because they don't know where their parents at. All right, little Timmy's gonna be crying. All right, you gonna have Jake in there crying, man. You see these thugs that's out here, Jake, they sagging their pants. I got that 9 on me. I ain't scared of nobody. All right, Jake in these songs talking about I ain't scared of nobody. I go to war with anybody. With anybody. Well, in these times, they're not going to war with nobody. They're going to be crying, screaming. Jake going to have their pants pulled up. Yes, master. Just don't kill me, master. All right? These are the things that's going to take place on the earth, man. And you're going to have the elect men. They not going to be crying, man. All right? And if they are crying, they're crying because they see salvation is near. When you see the guillotine right in your face, and Esau, he's marching you towards the guillotine. Hey, you're literally looking at the face of salvation, man. Some men, they see it as, oh, that's destruction, that's death. That's how some people are going to take it. Man, this nigga, he about to die, man. Man, we about to cut his head off. It's going to roll on the ground. We're going to kick it, play damn basketball with it. You know, Esau is a damn beast-like man. All right, he'll play with your head. All right? So your death, well, the elect's death is going to be taken for misery. But what? Let's go back to this. And their departure is taken for misery. Verse 3, and they're going from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace, because they're going to be with the Lord. All right? It says, for though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality. And having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded. For Yahweh proved them, and found them worthy for himself. As gold in the furnace hath he tried them, and received them as a burnt offering. And in the time of their visitation, they shall shine. What's the day of their visitation? It's not the elect is not coming to visit man on the earth. You know, they died. You know, in these damn movies, there's a lot of movies out there where I have like a relative. He may have died in a car crash or whatever. Now they say, oh, he went up into heaven. I know he's looking down at me. And then on another perspective, they'll have the dead relative standing right next to them, looking at him and saying, I wish I could have still been here with you. That's not what the elect are going to do. They're not coming down in a ghostly form and visiting man and, you know, making things drop and trying to make their presence known. You kind of hear the bathroom creaking. All right, and then some people say, oh, that's my dead cousin. He died in the bathroom. That's not what the hell is happening, man. Their day of visitation is them bringing back that judgment that was just put upon them. Remember, Esau going to be guillotining Jake and shooting Jake down. Hey, they're coming back to revisit the earth, all right, in a different manner, all right? They're not coming in this fleshly body. You know, you still see their flesh. No, they're going to come back with these spiritual bodies, man, all right? You know, so let's read this again. Verse 7, it says, in the time of their visitation, they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble. Verse 8, they shall judge the nations and have dominion over the people, and the Lord shall reign forever, man. All right? So those are who's coming with the Lord. The elect men and the angel are coming back with the Heavenly Father. All right? The 144. So let's go back to this Lakia in 2nd Esdras 7. So this is the book of 2nd Esdras 7 and verse 28. It says, for my son Yahushai shall be revealed with those that be with him, and they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years. All right. In verse 29, after these years shall my son Hamashiach die, and all men that have life. So now, we got to break this down. It says, and they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years. All right. So this is a future prophecy. He said 400 years are from this time, from this certain time frame. All right. It says, after these years shall my son Hamashiach die, and all men that have life. So now we got to see what that's talking about. How do we break that down? We got to go to Daniel 9. All right. So let's go to Daniel 9. And we're going to start at verse 24. All right. And this breakdown right here, it fully proves that the Bible and Apocrypha are meant to go hand in hand. All right. So let's go to the book of Daniel 9 and start at 24. All right. So this is the book of Daniel 9, and I'm going to start at verse 24. All right. Daniel 9 and 24. It says, 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins and to make reconciliation for iniquity and to bring in everlasting righteousness and to seal up the vision and prophecy and to anoint the most holy. So all these things we just read are going to happen within 70 weeks. Now, this is not talking about a literal 70 weeks. All right. This is going into something else. We know in each week you have 7 days. All right. So what this is really going into is each week having 7 days. A day would be a year. All right. A day would be a year. Now you have 7 days. All right, within that week. So let's break this down. Let's go to Ezekiel 4 and verse 6. All right, showing you that a day is likened unto a week. I mean, Slacky, a day is likened unto a year. All right, so this is the book of Ezekiel 4 and verse 6. It says, and when thou hast accomplished them, lie again on thy right side, and thou shalt bear the iniquity of the house of Judah 40 days. I have appointed thee each day for a year. So really it's going into a time frame of 40 years. All right. So I'm going to read that again. It says, I have appointed thee each day for a year. So each day out of the week is a year. All right. Now let's get more precepts on that. Let's go to the book of Leviticus 25 and 7. All right. So this is the book of Leviticus 25 and verse 7. All right, Leviticus 25 and 7. It says, and for thy cattle and for the beasts that are in thy land shall all the increase thereof be meat. And thou shalt number 7 Sabbaths of years. 7 Sabbaths of years. Unto thee 7 times 7 years. And the space of 7 Sabbaths of years shall be unto thee 49 years. All right. So you see that these days, all right, are likened unto years. All right. Let's get another one on that in the book of Genesis 29 and verse 27. All right. So this is the book of Genesis 29 and verse 27. All right, I'll start at 25. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah, and he said to Laban, what is this that thou hast done unto me? Did not I serve with thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me? And Laban said, it must not be so done in our country, to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill her week. Now, this is not talking about a literal week. We're going to see that. And we will give thee this also for the service which thou shalt serve with me yet 7 other years. Because again, in a week you have 7 days. So when he said you have to fulfill her week, he was really saying you have to fulfill 7 more years of work. And now you can get Rachel. All right. So we see here with common understanding, it should be understandable by now that days are likened unto years. All right. So let's go back to Daniel 9 and 24 with that even being said. So it says 70 weeks are determined upon thy people. So you would do 70, all right, times 7. There's 7 days in a week. So 70 times 7, you would get 490 years. So the Lord is saying there's 490 years until all these things take place. All right. All right. And that's literal. It's a literal 490 years. All right, so let's keep going. This is the book of Daniel 9 and 24. It says 70 70 weeks are determined upon thy people, 70 times 7, 490 years, all right, to finish the transgression, and to make an end of sins, and to make reconciliation for iniquity, and to bring in everlasting righteousness, and to seal up the vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. It says, know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore, to build Jerusalem unto the Slakia. It says, know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the prince shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall even in troublous times. So first we have to break down verse 25. Now it also mentioned, I'm gonna read it again. It says, know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the prince shall be 7 weeks. All right. So 7 weeks. All right. So obviously in each week you have 7 days. Now he said you're going to have 7 of those weeks. So you would do 7 times 7, which you would get 49. All right. So 49 years. All right. And 62 weeks. A score is 20. So 3 is 60. So he's saying 62 weeks. So you would do 62 times 7, which will be 434 years. All right. You add 49 years up to 434 years, you will get 483. All right. So with that being cleared up, let's go back to 25. It says, know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem, all right, unto the Messiah, the prince shall be 70 weeks and 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall even in troublous times. So he said 483 years, all right, after the temple is built up, all right, then you're going to have the Messiah come on the earth. All right, so this is ultimately what that 400 years is talking about in 2nd Esdras 7 and 28. All right, now we have to break that down. All right, he says the going forth of the commandment to build Jerusalem. That's talking about when Nehemiah got a commandment to build up Jerusalem. He was allowed to go and build up Jerusalem. That happened in 445 BC. All right, let's get the book of Nehemiah 2 and verse 6. All right, so he was allowed to go back home and to build up Jerusalem. All right, and as I stated, that was in 445 BC. That's very key. All right, you got to know that. All right, so let's go to the book of Nehemiah 2 and verse 6. All right, so this is Nehemiah 2 and verse 6. All right. Actually, I'll get the whole entire thing. I'll get verse 3. It says, I'll start at verse 2. Wherefore the king said unto me, why is thy countenance sad, seeing thou art not sick? This is nothing else but sorrow of heart. Then I was very sore afraid, and said unto the king, let the king live forever. Why should not my countenance be sad? When the city, the place of my father's sepulchre, lieth waste, and the gates thereof are consumed with fire. Then the king said unto me, for what dost thou make request? So I prayed to the God of heaven, and I said unto the king, if it please the king, and if thy servant have found favor in thy sight, that thou wouldest send me unto Judah, unto the city of my father's sepulchre, that I may build it. And the king said unto me, the queen also sitting by him, for how long shall thy journey be? And when wilt thou return? So it pleased the king to send me, and I set him a time. Moreover, I said unto the king, if it please the king, let letters be given me to the governors beyond the river, that they may convey me over till I come into Judah. And a letter unto Asaph, the keeper of the king's forest, that he may give me timber to make beams for the gates of the palace which appertain to the house, and for the wall of the city, and for the house that I shall enter into. And the king granted me according to the good hand of my God upon me. All right, so this is when the commandment was given, like we just read in verse 25 of Daniel. All right, he says, know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem. This is talking about, as we just read, when Nehemiah was given permission to go and build up Jerusalem. All right, which happened in 445 BC. All right, so continuing on, it says, and I'm in Daniel 9 and 25, to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, meaning unto the coming of the Messiah, the prince shall be 70 weeks and 62 weeks, as we just broke down, which will be 483 years. It says, the street shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublous times. What is that talking about? Because when Nehemiah was trying to build up the temple, there was a lot of problems going on. They was kind of hindering him, and no, you can't do this. And now you had the heathens vexing Israel. All right, let's go back to that Nehemiah. All right, so let's go to Nehemiah 4 and verse 6. All right, so this is Nehemiah 4 and verse 6. It says, so built we the wall, and all the wall was joined together unto the half thereof, for the people had a mind to work. But it came to pass that when Sanballat and Tobiah and the Arabians and the Ammonites and the Ashdodites heard that the walls of Jerusalem were made up, and that the breaches began to be stopped, then they were very wroth. So you see, when Israel's starting to build themselves up, you got the other nations, they're envying you, man. So why are these Negroes building themselves up again, man? I thought we just subdued them. I thought we hushed them up. Just like even now, they try to hush Jake. They're giving you all these different injections, and if you got ears to hear, they're injecting you with damn different philosophies. They're injecting you with the damn TV screen and even your phone, man. They give you all these things to shut Jake up, and Jake's still out there protesting. Jake and their rap songs talking about, oh, we being oppressed. And so no matter what, they can't stop us, and they angry at that, man. So even now, Nehemiah's trying to build up the wall. Now, we understand if we build up our own cities and things like that, then we're not paying taxes because we got our own land. We know better than that. We're not paying taxes. All right, we not giving the other nations no money, man. All right, that's why they were angry. All right, let's keep going. It says, verse 8, and conspired all of them together to come and to fight against Jerusalem and to hinder it. See, this is the troublous times. Nehemiah was building up Jerusalem in troublous times because you had the heathens trying to hinder him. Let's get another one in the book of Nehemiah 6, and I'm going to start at 13. All right, so this is the book of Nehemiah 6 and verse 13. All right, and it reads, it says, therefore was he hired that I should be afraid and do so in sin, that they might have matter for an evil report, that they might reproach me. My God, think thou upon Tobiah and Sanballat according to these their works, and on the prophetess Nodiah and the rest of the prophets that would have put me in fear. So the wall was finished in the 25th day of the month, Elul, and 52 days. And it came to pass that when all our enemies heard thereof, and all the heathen that were about us saw these things, they were much cast down in their own eyes. For they perceived that this work was wrought of our God. Moreover, in those days the nobles of Judah sent many letters unto Tobiah, and the letters of Tobiah came unto them. All right. It says, for there were many in Judah sworn unto him, because he was the son-in-law of Shechaniah, the son of Arah, and his son Johanan had taken the daughter of Meshullam, the son of Beriah. And also they reported his good deeds before me, and uttered my words unto him, and Tobiah sent letters to put me in fear. So again, you have another account where Nehemiah is trying to get things done, and you got the heathens, they kind of getting in the way. All right, I'm going to get one more in Nehemiah 6 and 1. It says, now it came to pass when Sanballat and Tobiah and Geshem the Arabian and the rest of our enemies heard that I had builded the wall and that there was no breach left therein, though at that time I had not set up the doors upon the gates, that Sanballat and Geshem sent unto me, saying, come, let us meet together in some one of the villages in the plain of Ono. But they thought to do me mischief. I mean, they was trying to put Nehemiah to death. Just like, look at Martin Luther King. You see, Martin Luther King, he was marching, and at first he was on a coon mission. But later on, if you listen to his latter speeches, he knew that we were the children of Israel. He even went to Israel and seen the promised land. That's what he was talking about. He's talking about Israel. When he said the promised land, he wasn't talking about Babylon. All right, he wasn't talking about, we're trying to get peace with the white man, and that's the promised land. Us being one together. That's not what he was talking about. All right, you gotta go check that out and do research on that. He's talking about Israel. And what? Hey, they killed Martin Luther King. They assassinated him. They tried to shoot him. They, sniped him up. Then he went to the hospital and he got suffocated, man. Somebody killed him while he was in the hospital. That's facts. You gotta look that up, man. So you see, when we try to build ourselves up and do something, you got the heathen trying to put you to death. All right, and they put the leader to death. They're not putting down the man that's in his tent and he's just following. No, if you subdue the head, then the tail gotta fall too. All right, just like even Malcolm X. All right, Malcolm X, he got put to death. Why? Because he was trying to build us up. That's what these heathens do. So when we go back to Daniel 9, when he said that it will be built up in troublous times, that's what he was speaking of. All right, the hardship, all right, and the things that Nehemiah had to go through just to build us up again. All right, so let's go back to Daniel 9, and we was at 25. It says, know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the prince shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. So now when you do again, because he's saying when this building is taking place, our 483 years later, the Messiah will be on the earth. So you do 445 BC and you subtract that from 483, I believe you get 38 AD. All right, 38 AD. So in 38 AD, Yahushua was already on the scene. So that's prophecy. He was prophesied to come on the earth after the 483 years took place, and he did. All right, he was already on the scene. He was actually killed on that year, I believe, in 38 AD. All right, so that prophecy was fulfilled. All right, so but it's not done yet, because here in 2nd Esdras 7 and 29, it says, after these years shall my son Hamashiach die, and all men that have life. So we got to keep going in Daniel 9. It says after the 400 years he'll die. All right, verse 26, it says after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off. So 62 weeks is 434 years. So 434 years after the building of Jerusalem took place, Yahushua was prophesied to be cut off. Now, the math for that, you would do 445 BC minus 434 BC. I mean, Slaki. You would do 444, which was BC. All right, and subtract that, subtract 434 from that. Now you would get what is that? You would get 11. You would get 11 AD. Now you go to 38 AD and subtract 11 from that, you get 27 AD. Now you literally look it up. I'm sorry I didn't do it on my computer. I should have, to pull everything up. But you go on your computer and you see that they said Yahushua died, or he was being persecuted, all right, around 27 AD is when he started being persecuted, all right? So again, that's prophecy, because after 27 AD, he was cut off because of his teachings, All right. So let's read this again. It says, after 62 weeks shall the Messiah be cut off, but not for himself, meaning he was cut off for Israel's sake. Now, you may have a question here in 2nd Esdras 7:28. It says, for my son Yahushua shall be revealed with those that be with him, and they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years. After these years shall my son Hamashiach die, and all men that have life. So you may say, hold on now. In 2nd Esdras 7:28-29, it says 400 years. But here it's saying 434 years. Because what's being read in Daniel is correct. It's 434 years. Just because you have it say here 400 years, that 400 years is not talking about a literal 400 years. Because you even go to Genesis 15:13. All right, let's prove all things. All right, we're not going to just say things up here. All right, we got to prove it. So this is the book of Genesis 15, and I'm going to start at verse 13. All right. Genesis 15:13. It says, and he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. This is talking about us being in Egypt. All right, the old Egypt, the Egypt that we were saved out of, where Moses was telling Pharaoh, let my people go. That's what that was going into. So here in Genesis, it says we will be in that land for 400 years. But that's not necessarily true. We're actually in that land for 430 years. All right, let's prove that. That's Exodus 12:40. All right, so this is the book of Exodus. All right, Exodus 12 and verse 40. It says, now the sojourning of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years. So you see how the Lord said you got to go precept upon precept. We just went precept on precept, and I showed you that in one place it said 400 years, but in another place it said 434 years. 430 years. That 400 years was just a estimation, for lack of better terms. All right? So what it was really going into was us being in Egypt for 430 years. Just like we have this case in 2nd Esdras 7:28-29. All right, in Daniel the 9th chapter. All right, let's get one more precept on that. Let's go to the book of Sirach. All right, 18. I believe I want 18 and 9. All right, so this is the book of Sirach. All right, 18 and verse 9. It says, what is man, and whereto serveth he? What is his good? Oh, Slaki, I'm at damn 8. Verse 9. The number of a man's days at the most are 100 years. So now some people, they may read that and say, hold on. The Lord said man's days is at most 100 years. But I just looked up on Google. There was a lady, she lived until she was 110. She was 102. Oh yeah, see the Bible, that's off. That's off. No, the 100 years is just an estimation. Meaning you're not going to go past 100. You're not going to be 200 years old. You're not going to be 300. No, you're not going to. Your bounds is in the hundreds, and that's as far as you're going to go. So that's what that's going into. I just wanted to clear that up for those that may have examined that. All right. So let's go back again to I'm gonna read 2nd Esdras 7:28, and then I'm gonna go back to Daniel 9. So this is 2nd Esdras 7:28 from the top. For my son Yahushua shall be revealed with those that be with him, and they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years. After these years, my son Hamashiach shall die, and all men that have life. So as we just read here, all right, after the 434 years, Yahushua was cut off. I'm going to read that one more time for you. This is Daniel 9:26. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. So he was cut off for the children of Israel's sake. Remember, he was made a ransom, all right, for the children of Israel. All right, so that's what that's going into. So let's go back to 2nd Esdras 7, and I'm going to read verse 29. It says, after these years shall my son Hamashiach die, and all men that have life. Now, when Yahushua died, did everybody that was on the earth, did they die? No, that's not what he's talking about. The words of the Lord, they are life. All right? So when you take heed to that, you're alive. All right? When Yahushua came on the scene, he caused certain men to understand what he was saying, and they took heed to his doctrine and what he was preaching, like his disciples. They had life. But the rest of them, they were dead. Let's go to the book of Proverbs 21 and verse 16. All right, so this is Proverbs 21 and verse 16. All right. Proverbs 21 and 16. It says, the man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. So those that didn't take heed unto Yahushua's doctrine and the words that he was preaching, they were considered the dead. Because they wandered out of the way of understanding. They all in the world. They confused. They believe in witchcraft. They believe in they serving damn planets. Or you had in Acts 14, you had men calling Paul and damn Barnabas, they call him Jupiter and Mercury's, man. So you got simple men, they were wandering out of the way of understanding. Therefore, they was damn dead. So going back to 2nd Esdras 7 and 29, after these years shall my son Hamashiach die, and all men that have life. So those that was preaching the word of the Lord and holding his doctrine, remember they died. You can look up different way, like for example, John. Let's go to that. Let's go to the book of Matthew 14 and verse 6. All right. So this is Matthew 14, and I'm going to start at verse 6. It says, but when Herod's birthday was kept, the daughter of Herodias danced before them and pleased Herod. And now this is a lap dance, all right? It's not that deep. This is a damn lap dance, man, for more than likely. Verse 7. Whereupon he promised with an oath to give her whatsoever she would ask. And you know that's what happens. This is an Edomite. All right? You know Esau, they get drunken. Esau's a damn pervert, man. All right? They getting all drunken. They got this woman dancing. And you know Esau, they got $250,000 at the house. All right? They got diamonds in the safe. Yo, he's getting so intense. He's like, damn, I'll give you whatever you want, shorty. Hey, whatever you want, I'll give it to you. I'll give you the world. All right? That's how, this type of spirit this man is moving, is lustful demon. All right? Verse 8. And she, being before instructed of her mother, said, give me here John Baptist's head in a charger. A charger is like, you go to you ever see like a catering business, they'll have that. They'll come up, the caterers, they'll come up with this little thing that's holding a platter. All right, it's a silver tray and it has a covering. That's a charger. All right, and they kind of open it up and they got the cuisine meal. You know, you got the rice, whatever you order is in that platter. That's a charger. So this woman wanted John the Baptist's head on a charger. Verse 9. And the king was sorry. Nevertheless, for the oath's sake, and them which sat with him at meat, he commanded it to be given her. And he sent and beheaded John in prison. And his head was brought in a charger and given to the damsel. And she brought it to her mother. So you see, those that had life, John the Baptist, he followed Yahushua. All right, don't listen to certain brothers. Certain brothers will tell you John the Baptist wasn't in the truth. Yes, he was in the truth, man. What the hell is wrong with you? All right? He was alive. He was a man that was living. Not just because he's walking around, his eyes are still all right. You know, he's able to walk to and fro. His heart is still beating. No, he had life in him because he had the doctrines of life. He had the word of life, all right, within him, and he was put to death, all right? That happened even later on, even with Paul, man. Let's go to Acts 21 and verse 13. Now, Paul, he was doing his ministries after the death of Hamashiach. So this is Acts 21 and 13. It says, then Paul answered, what mean ye to weep and to break mine heart? For I am ready not to be bound only, but also to die at Jerusalem for the name of the Lord Yahushua. So he knew he was going to be put to death because he had the words of life installed in him. All right. So you see here, those that had life, those that had the doctrine, they died and perished after Hamashiach died. All right, because people crucify Yahushua, they hated him. How much more those that are following him? They're gonna hate him too. All right. So that's what that's going into. Let's go back to that in 2nd Esdras. All right, 2nd Esdras 7:29. After these years shall my son Hamashiach die, and all men that have life. And the world shall be turned into the old silent 7 days, like as in the former judgments, so that no man shall remain. Now, we're going to touch on the 7 days in a few. So, real quick, he said the world shall be turned into the old silence. What is the old silence? When Jake didn't know what the hell was going on, Jake was damn serving idols and things like that. For example, let's go to the book of Numbers 25 and verse 1. All right. So this is the book of Numbers 25, all right, in verse 1. It says, "And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab." So you had Israel in the ancient world, they were committing a whoredom with the other nations. Not meaning they were physically laying down with them, although they were doing that as well, but they was getting down with their gods, their philosophies. That was the Salakia. That's the old silence. When man was really misguided, they didn't actually have the bread, which was Yahushua. They didn't have the true bread with them at the moment in the flesh. They didn't have that. When Yahushua came on the scene, then the bread of life was now made manifest unto man. The true bread, the true manna, he was on the earth. But in these times, in the days of old, he wasn't there physically in the flesh. So you have men, they going off and committing whoredom with the other nations. Let's keep going. Verse 2. "And they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods. And the people did eat and bow down to their gods. And Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel." All right, so you had Israel committing fornication with the other nations. And even on top of that, you had Jake. When Yahushua died, you had Jake. They completely wandered out of the way of understanding. You have Jake. Let me go to Acts 17 and verse 16. All right. This is the book of Acts 17 and verse 16. "So now while Paul waited for them at Athens, his spirit was stirred in him when he saw the city wholly given to idolatry." So the whole city, there was a whole city just given to idolatry. All right. You think these men, they worried about Yahushua? No. Remember when Yahushua came on the scene, he was the big talk. Everybody was coming to see him. They was exploring what he was saying and kind of trying to figure him out. He was confounding them. So it was proving that what he was saying was right over everything else. But then when he died, you had men, they kind of fell away. And now they believe in this. They believe in this. I believe in that. The whole city was now given to idolatry. Verse 17. Therefore disputed he in the synagogue with the Jews and with the devout persons, and in the market daily with them that met with him. Then certain philosophers, so you have philosophers in the scriptures, are philosophers of the Epicureans. Now, what they believe in for short, they don't believe that God or gods have any power in the land of the living. You see how the grass is green, the clouds, they move in the firmament. You got the sun, it goes up and it returns to its place at a certain time. They believe all those things happen, but they don't believe that there's any divine power that has a hand or a part to play in anything you see before you. They just think they got that I am. I just am. Sometimes we ask Jake, we say, "Well, what's your nationality? How'd you get here?" He said, "Well, I'm just am, man. I'm just living, man. I'm just doing me. All right, I don't really believe there's a God. All right, these men, they're, for lack of a better term, they're atheists. They don't believe in God. All right, or gods, which there is no gods. All right, it says, and of the Stoics, they believe in Stoicism. Now, Stoicism, to short it all up for you, they believe in Mother Nature. All right, they got that Mother Nature spirit on them. All right, so let's keep going. It says, and of the Stoics encountered him, and some said, what will this babbler say? Yeah, so now they kind of, he's just a babbler. When they see us on the highways and byways, they look at us and say, oh, these damn babblers out here again, man. All they do is yell at people and read the scriptures. Hey, that's what Paul was doing, all right, with zeal, all right? It says, other some, he seemed to be a setter forth of strange gods, because he preached unto them Yahushua in the resurrection. See that? So the world, after he died, it fell into the old silence. People didn't know their nationality. They called themselves Greeks. And people just, the world, it fell out of course. All right? That's what happened after Yahushua died. All right? So it says, and the world shall be turned into the old silence 7 days. Now, the 7 days, let's go back to Daniel. All right. Salaki. So this is the book of Daniel. All right, 9. I may skip a little bit. I believe we're already damn near done with it. Okay, Khan. So, Khan, I'm gonna finish this. This is the book of Daniel 9 and 26. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince is Esau. How would you break that down? For the sake of the breakdown, I'm going to just throw out the precepts, because this is not really what we're trying to go into. All right, it says, it's like you will go to Ephesians 2 and 2 to break down who the prince is. And you will go to John 14 and 30 on down. All right, so that's how you break that down. It says, and the people of the prince that shall come forth shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with the flood, and unto the end of the war desolation are determined. This is talking about the siege of Jerusalem in 70 AD, and it happened with a flood. Our enemies came and pursued us. All right, that's Luke 19. Luke 19, I believe that's 41 through 44. All right, that's how you break that down. Verse 27, and he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. So this prince, which is Esau, is going to confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. This is the last week out of the 490 years. This is what this week is going into. All right, and we're reading about that week here in 2nd Ezra 7. All right, let me get this one more time. This is 2nd Ezra 7 and 30. And the world shall be turned into the old silence 7 days. Now, that's just for a certain amount of time. This 7 isn't 7 years. All right, this is now spiritual. All right, this has a double fold meaning. All right, let's get Job 11 and verse 6. All right, so this is the book of Job. Salakia. All right, so this is Job 11 and verse 6. It says, and that he would show thee that the secrets of wisdom, that they are double to that which is. Know therefore that Yahweh exacteth of thee less than thine iniquity deserveth. So now going on a twofold, we understand, or getting deeper in the scriptures, we understand that certain numbers have this meaning. All right, sometimes it's literal, sometimes it's not. For example, let's go to the book of Psalms 32, 3 and verse 2. All right. So this is the book of Psalms 33 and verse 2. And it says, all right, it says, praise the Lord with harp, sing unto him with the psaltery and an instrument of 10 strings. All right, so we see here that number 10, that 10 is just it's for completion. All right, so we see 10 is figurative for completion. All right, let's get one more. I don't want to stay too long on this. Let's go to Baruch 4 and 28. All right, so this is the book of Baruch 4 and verse 28. It says, "For as it was your mind to go astray from Yahweh, so being returned, seek him 10 times more." So that's not literal, all right? It's just spiritually telling you something, all right? Let's get one more precept in the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter. All right, so this is Revelation 13, all right, in verse 18. It says, "Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So it says, "Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number." So certain men, the Lord has put a spirit upon them, and they're able to go in the scriptures and say, okay, this is an actual 7. This is a spiritual 7. This is an actual 10. This is a spiritual 10. All right. Let him that hath wisdom, all right, count the number. So through the spirit, we understand that this 7 days is not a literal, this last week is not a literal 7 days or 7 years. All right. This is spiritual, meaning it's just for a certain amount of time. All right. So let's go back to Daniel 9 and 27. It says, and he shall confirm the covenant. Slacky, I just want to grab 2nd Esdras 7 again. All right, so it's there already. All right, so this is the book of Daniel 9:27. "And he, the prince, shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week." So the covenant is talking about this word. So Esau is helping us confirm the covenant for a week. All right, within that week, he's helping us confirm the covenant. Well, you may say, how is Esau doing that if they're against us doing this? Because remember, right now, I'm using a cell phone. Who made the cell phone? All right. Who's allowing you to, go in your photos and click camera and record? And the so-called white men provided these things for us. Even the YouTube platform. I'm about to post this video on YouTube, Lord willing. All right. Esau set that up, man. All right. So Esau, they're confirming the covenant with us for 1 week. Even you have agents in this thing. You got agents in this thing. Now Esau has infiltrated certain brothers' establishments. I don't know who. I can't say who. I don't know. But we know through prophecy Esau is going to do that. Now they have done that. Now they'll use certain brothers or sisters, whatever, and they'll give them some of the truth and half of the truth. They'll say, well, yeah, you are children of Israel, and etc., etc. Then people come into the truth. They just help the Lord bring people in, although the Lord doesn't need them. But they're helping us do certain things through their different platforms. All right, they made there was just this new platform that was popular. I forget exactly what it's called. You can go into like chat rooms and debate the scriptures. I forget exactly what it's called. All right, Esau made that up, man. And they're helping us confirm the covenant. It be thousands of people in those chat rooms, man. And they getting the word and all their questions about the Bible. Hey, they're getting it broken down for them right there. So he's confirming the covenant with us for 1 week. It says, and in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. So in the midst of the week, 3.5 days, Esau, he's gonna stop us from serving the Lord. All right. It says, and for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate, even unto the consumption, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. All right, so this is that week, that's 7 days. All right, let's go back to 2nd Esdras 7 and verse 30. And the world shall be turned into old silence 7 days. So for this week, for this span of a week, a spiritual week, all right, the world is just out of course. All right. Everything's going bad. Because remember, like he just said, it says in the midst of the week, he's going to stop the oblation from cease. He's going to cause us to stop sacrificing, all right, and things of that nature. All right. Let's go to, real quick, let's go to Revelation 11 and 11. All right. So this is the book of Revelation 11 and 11. It says, and after 3 days, it's the same week, after 3 days and a half, which is 3.5, that's the midst of the week that we just read of in Daniel 9. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yahweh entered into them. That's happening now. The spirit of life is coming back into us. All right. Remember, a man was damn destroyed and the world was in its old silence. Now we're starting to wake up in the midst of that old silence. We're still in that old silence. Because you got 2/3, they don't know who they are. You got the other nations, they don't know who they are. But within that time, the Lord is waking up certain men. And they that stood upon their feet, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. All right? It said, playing upon tables, the nation, they're seeing us stand up, and they're scared of us, man. Then they're going to stop us. All right, let's go to Revelation 12. So it's the book of Revelation 12, and I'm going to start at verse 17. And the dragon, which is Esau, was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Yahushai HaMashiach. See that? So we're waking up and we have the testimony of HaMashiach Yahushai. Now, they're going to see us waking up and they go get angry. I paid $5 billion for these Israelites not to wake up. And look at it. They waking up before us, man. Esau is somewhere, these Amalekites, they somewhere in a penthouse. A little bit of hair they got, renting it out their head. All right. Then probably cutting themselves. I just want to die before Israel come and destroy me. All right. They're angry, and now they're going to come and make a war with us. They're starting to do it now with the COVID vaccine. Oh, you got to get the vaccine, or you're not going to be able to go out no more. All right. Or you can't go to work, or you can't go to the grocery store, man. This is their way of making war against us, and it's only going to escalate from here. This is just the beginning. All right, the beginning of sorrows, like he said in 2nd Esdras. All right, so that's what's going on, man. All right, so in the midst of that week, they're going to cause us to stop sacrificing and serving the Lord. Just like we go out there and teach on the highways and byways, that's not going to happen anymore. That's going to stop. You're not going to see brothers out there teaching the word. All right? So in the midst of the old silence, we're waking up, man. All right? And they're going to stop us from further pushing this truth. So going back to 2nd Esdras 7 and 30. And the world shall have been turned, shall be turned into the old silence 7 days, like as in the former judgments, so that no man shall remain therein. So you're going to have a lot of dead men out here, man. We're just now waking up. A few years back, everybody was dead. Nobody knew their nationality. I believe in the 60s, brothers start coming out and teaching the Bible again, man. Teaching that we're Israel and so on and so forth. Before that, nobody knew who they were, man. All right, so there was nobody remaining. No one was alive. No one knew who they were. All right. It says, verse 31, and after 7 days, the world, so when the week is complete, after 7 days, the world that yet awaketh not shall be raised up, and that shall die, and that shall die that is corrupt. So the world is going to be brought back to its natural estate. All right. We're going to rule again. Like he said in Revelation, all right, the 21st chapter. All right, so this is the book of Revelation. All right, Revelation 21, and I'm going to start at verse 1. Revelation 21 and 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. And the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. So the heaven is talking about the rulership of man, first and foremost. I believe I broke this down in a recent video. All right, but we're going to do it again for those that may have not watched that. Let's go to the book of Isaiah 34 and verse 5. All right, so this is Isaiah 34 in verse 5. I start at 4. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. Now, it's not talking about the actual firmament. It's not going to be rolled together and brought to naught. You see, some people, they think when the Lord comes back, he's going to blow up the earth. All right, he's going to set TNT all over the earth. Sayonara, boom. And the earth going to be gone. That's not what's going to happen, man. The Lord is going to destroy man and their power. Remember in Ecclesiastes 1 and 4? Let me grab it. Let's not talk about it. All right, it's the book of Ecclesiastes 1 and verse 4. It says, one generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever. So we know he's not talking about the actual firmament and the heaven and the sky that you see. That's going to be rolled together. It's talking about the rulership of man. We're going to see that. Going back to Isaiah 34 and 4. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down. As the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a fallen fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. So he just told you his sword is going to be bathed in heaven. And he told you where his sword is going to be bathed. In Idumea. He's going to shed the blood of Esau, man. Is Esau the heaven? No, but Esau has a heaven, which is this earth. This kingdom is heaven. All right, Esau, he can do whatever the hell he want. All right, he can travel when he want. He can make rules on who can travel and who can't. All right, and then break those very same rules. This is his heaven right here, man. All right, you see, people think that heaven is in the clouds, and that's not what the hell that's talking about, man. This is heaven living lavishly. All right, well, what did the Lord say in Revelation 21? It says, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth. That's going into 2 Esdras 6 and 9. All right, Esau's the end of the world. All right, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So we're going to have the new heaven. We are the new heaven. The old heaven is passed away. Like you just said. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea, man. All right? So the other nations, they're not going to have dominion over the earth anymore. Hey, we're going to rule over this thing. All right? So that's the new heaven, all right, that he was speaking of. This, let me get this again. All right? In 2 Esdras 7 and 31. And after 7 days, the world that yet awaketh not shall be raised up. All right, so now, as I just broke down, you're going to have the new heaven, a new earth. The earth is going to be reshaped again. It's going to be new, meaning it's going to go back to its first estate. Right now, it's all polluted and destroyed. Well, the Lord's going to fix that and make a new thing. He's going to cause Israel to rule again. So the world is going to awake, all right? The trees are going to flourish. Israel's not going to look like a desert, man. You go to Israel, it look like damn 50,000 sandstorms done hit that place, man. Time in and time out. That place is done. All right, you even got fig trees out there, man. You don't got no thick fig trees anyway. You got twigs out there. All right, it's a bunch of twigs and little trees. You know, your parents kind of go out. Your parents will love to go out there and pick some twitches off them damn trees, man, and beat you behind with it. All right, but that's not good. It's not thick out there. It's not lavish. Well, the earth is going to be restored under our power, man. That's the earth awakening. All right? It says, that yet awaketh not shall be raised up, and that shall die that is corrupt. What is that talking about? Wickedness. Everything that's wicked, anything that's contrary to the truth, it's going to be destroyed. Let's go to 2 Esdras 6, and I'm going to start at verse 26. This is 2 Esdras 6 and 26. It says, and the men that are received shall see it, and who have not tasted death from their birth. And the heart of the inhabitants shall be changed and turned into another meaning. For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. Who's more evil and who's more deceitful than the so-called white man? Nobody, man. They're going to be put out the earth. Man, you got various precepts where he said you're going to destroy Esau. You got Job 20:4. You got Psalms 37:10. Psalms 37:34 through 35. Or you got multiple precepts on end that tell you, hey, the wicked, they're going to be destroyed. You know, they've been prospering, but hey, the Lord got to slaughter them in these last days. Evil is going to be put out. And what else is evil? The things that comes with Esau, they're the way that they characterize man. They say, well, oh, okay, you're white. Okay, here you're black, and then you know, you're yellow. They call it the Moabites. They call it in the Ammonites. They say that they're yellow. How the hell are you yellow, man? Them Ammonites not yellow. All right, they're Ammonites. They're not. Their nationality's not yellow. See the madness that comes with Esau? All that's gonna be put away. Their philosophies. All right. You know, hey, Yahushai, he was born by the virgin birth. And you know what? There's a Trinity. All that stuff is done away with, man. You being able to be a homosexual, that's evil as hell. The Lord said that's going to be put out the earth. Oh, you want to be a transgender? Well, that's not going to happen in the kingdom, man. You got men cutting off their damn rods, man. The Lord said if you cut off your rod, you can't enter into the congregation of the Lord. That's going to be a new thing now. That's going to be brought back. Right now, that's not really enforced. Esau says on their dollar bill, in God we trust. But yet they allow men to cut off their rods. You don't trust in God, you trust in yourself. You trust in your wealth, your heaven that you have before you, man. Well, the Lord said all that evil is going to be put out. Verse 28, as for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which hath been so long without fruit, shall be declared. You see, truth is like a tree that has no fruits on it. It's like a mango tree, but it don't got no damn mangoes. Imagine you go up to a mango tree, and it's budding season. It's supposed to be bringing forth mangoes. And you kind of looking at the tree. What the hell? I thought this is a mango tree. It don't got no damn mangoes, man. That's what the truth is right now. It's a tree. It's sprouted up, but it doesn't have any real fruit on it yet. Well, the Lord said, hey, that's going to be put out. Now I'm gonna cause the fruit of the tree to bear. All right, you're gonna see the fruits of the truth. Right now we have small discrepancies in doctrines and this and that. Well, the Lord said, hey, the truth is gonna be revealed. Your prophets, hey, they're gonna see eye to eye in these last days, man. All right, that's gonna take place. I believe that's let me grab that. I believe that's Isaiah 52 and verse 8. All right, so this is the book of Isaiah, all right, 52, and I believe it's verse 8. It says, thy watchmen shall lift up the voice, with the voice together shall they sing. So now in these new days, these latter times, we're going to lift up the voice together. Right now you got this camp, they lifting their voice over there. Then you got that camp, you know, they want to be to themselves. Then you got this camp, they don't really like nobody. Well, the Lord said, hey, we're going to sing together instead of singing apart. All right? It says, with the voice together shall they sing, for they shall see eye to eye when the Lord shall bring again Zion. All right? So evil is going to be put out and the truth is going to be sprung forth. All right? Let me read that again. That's a beautiful precept. This is 2 Esdras 6 and 28. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome. And the truth, which had been so long without fruit, shall be declared, man. All right, so that's plain upon table. Let's go back to 2 Ezra 7, and we were at 31. I'll read that again. It says, after 7 days, no man shall remain, Salakia. 31, after 7 days, the world that yet awaketh not shall be raised up, and that shall die that is corrupt. And the earth shall restore those that are asleep in her. Now, is there men actually sleep in the earth? That's not what he's talking. You got men, they kind of dig in the grave. They went to the graveyards. I don't got a home. Let me go to the graveyard or any type of land mass and dig up some dirt, and they kind of laying in the dirt and dreaming. No, those that are asleep is talking about those that are dead. All right, that word sleep is just going into being dead. Let's go to the book of Mark 5 and verse 33. All right, slack here. So this is the book of Mark 5, and I'm going to start at verse 33. It says, "But when the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what was done in her, came and fell down before him and told him all the truth. And he said unto her, Daughter, thy faith hath made thee whole. Go in peace and be whole of thy place." It says, "While he yet spake, there came from the ruler of the synagogue's house certain which said, Thy daughter is dead. Why troublest thou the master any further? As soon as Yahushua heard the crowd that was spoken, as soon as Yahushua heard the word that was spoken, he saith unto the ruler of the synagogue, Be not afraid, only believe. And he suffered no man to follow him, save Peter and James and John, the brother of James. And he cometh to the house of the ruler of the synagogue, and seeth the tumult, and them that wept and wailed greatly. And when he was come in, he saith unto them, Why make ye this ado and weep? The damsel is not dead, but sleepeth. All right, so she actually was dead, but she sleep. The Lord is referring to a death as a rest. All right, you're only resting for a little season because you got to be resurrected again. Verse 40, it says, And they laughed him to scorn, but when he had pulled them out, he had put them out, all out, Salakia. He taketh the father and the mother of the damsel and them that were with him, and entered in where the damsel was lying. And he took the damsel by the hand and said unto her, Talitha cumi, which is, being interpreted, Damsel, I say unto thee, arise. And straightway the damsel arose and walked, for she was of the age of 12 years, and they were astonished with a great astonishment. All right, so he caused her to come back from the grave. All right, she was sleeping, but she was really dead. Let's go to the book of 2 Peter 3 and verse 4. All right, so sleep is called death. Sleep is death is referred to as sleep, Salaki. All right, so this is the book of 2 Peter, all right, 3 and verse 4. 2 Peter 3 and 4. It says in saying, Where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. So you have certain men, they saying, well, our forefathers, they've been dead. And as they died, the earth is still going on the same way. But they said asleep, meaning that they were dead. All right, let's get one more. Let's go to the book of Acts 7 and verse 60. All right, so this is Acts 7 and verse 60. It's talking about Stephen. And he knelt down and cried with a loud voice, Lord, lay not this sin to their charge. Because they were stoning him, man. He's saying this in the midst of being stoned. And when he had said this, he fell asleep. They fall asleep. Damn, took a night quill. Or a day quill. That's not what happened. He fell asleep, meaning he died, man. Them stones was clashing against his flesh, and he died, man. All right? Through the hands of wicked-ass Israel. All right, so when the scriptures say asleep, it's not talking about a literal sleep. Just saying that they're dead. All right? So let's go back to 2 Esdras 7 and 32. And the earth shall restore those that are asleep in her. Remember, real quick, because there's gonna be a resurrection. Let's go to the book of John 5 and 29. All right, so this is John, all right, 5 and verse 29. And it reads, it says, I start at 28. Marvel not at this, for the hour is coming, in the which all that are in the grave shall hear his voice, and shall come forth, they that have done good unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation. So you're going to have a resurrection where certain men, they're going to be brought back to life. All right, let's get another one in 2 Esdras 2 and 16. So this is 2nd Esdras 2 and verse 16. And it reads, and those that be dead will I raise up out again from their places, and bring them out of the graves, for I have known my name in Israel. All right. See, it's playing upon tables. Let's get one more. All right. This is the book of 1 Thessalonians 4 and verse 16. It says, this is Paul speaking. It says, for the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of Yahweh. And the dead in Hamashiach shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. Wherefore comfort one another with these words. So this is very plain upon tables. You're going to have some men, they're going to be caught up out of their graves and meet up in heaven with Yahweh Shai. Then the rest that are alive, they're going to meet with him as well. All right. So let's go back to 2nd Esdras 7 and 32. It says, and the earth shall restore those that are asleep in her, and so shall the dust those that dwell in silence. And the secret places shall deliver those souls that were committed unto them. And the Most High shall appear upon the seat of judgment, and misery shall pass away, and the long suffering shall have an end. All right. So with that, I'm going to give all honor and glory to the Most High Yahweh, which the world calls God, and Yahweh Shai, which the world calls Jesus Christ. Shalom, shalom, and Lord willing, this was edifying to at least one brother or even to one sister. Kwam Yashala.